Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special figure showcase and review we're going to be looking at the 1988 Decepticon Junior Headmaster. This is of course Squeezeplay. So in this video we're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes, help you decide how you want to display him. We're going to have a look at the accessories that come with him to help you know if yours is complete. Because he's a vintage figure, I'm going to point out things that you need to be aware of if you have to purchase him one yourself. We can bring in the other Decepticon Junior Headmasters. I'm going to show you how the Headmaster gimmick works. We can have a look at one other iteration of him, which to be honest isn't the greatest, but then because I'm lucky enough to have some packaging, we can have a look at the fantastic artwork and the battle scenes on them. So as I start to pop these away, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out. Right, the figure we've got in front of us then, to be honest, I really like this figure, and I was lucky enough to actually have not this particular one but one of these as a child. Now to me he always was Squeezeplay. Now what I'm saying about that is that in obviously Hasbro marketed this figure as Squeezeplay, but in Japan they were lucky enough to still have cartoons running at the time. In 1988 the cartoon was known as Super God Master Force, and he was unfortunately called Cancer. That was mainly to do though with his alternate mode and nothing else. So I'm going to do a bit of a dual review because they're both the same, exactly the same figure, no physical differences, just different names. Let's have a look at the robot mode itself then. So the robot, again, unfortunately for the 1988, means there's loads of sort of kibble on the back. I mean, you could have that down, but you can of course just see it from the back, whereas if you fold it up out of the way, you've just got a pair of legs and a huge crab head on the back. But again, my get out of jail with any figure, no matter when it was released, and indeed with newer figures and expensive ones, if you can't see it from the front, I'm not too bothered, because that's how he fits on my shelf and I think he looks good. Articulation wise, we can actually spin the arms all the way around. They can go side to side a little bit. We've actually got a waist tilt as well, which, well, a waist swivel rather. The legs will also kick all the way up and all the way back. This is a lot for Generation 1 guys, by the way. There's even a knee bend, which is crazy, and I suppose you could also call the claws maybe a bit of an ankle tilt or rock, because you could push him up at a different angle, but it is of course mainly for transformation purposes. You could even borderline say there's a bit of wrist movement, but once again that is of course for transformation purposes. The Headmaster gimmick that he has is this. Again with Hasbro, the little Headmaster partner was known as Locus, whereas in Japan this little character was actually called Cancer, and the body was just a body until he combined with him. Right, now you can put any of the Headmaster Junior's heads inside this, but the main difference between this and the big Headmasters is this is just a barrel, so it doesn't going to give you different readings as in the older ones. Each different one pushed down a slightly different set of numbers, whereas all this is pushing down a barrel. You can of course mix the Headmasters around, but you can't put the large Headmasters in the Junior Headmasters, whereas you can the other way around. So that needs to go there. Now the good thing, well, I say the unfortunate thing with this is if you haven't got the head, then you can pretty much get away with displaying in robot mode, in alternate mode, which I'll show you in a second. But there is, I mean, there's the accessories unfortunately with this guy are quite important. This is going to be the tail obviously in the alternate mode, and then that is the blaster. Nice bit of molding detail on there as well, and you can of course put both of these into his hands like he says, like so, but it can be quite awkward. You have to just angle that ever so slightly just so it doesn't catch the back of it like that. Let me just bring in the other ones very quickly. So as I say, that's Horrible, or Bullhorn as he was known in Japan, and you know what, I don't know Fangry's name in Japan. This I think was called Crash Bar, but I can't remember 100% fully, but I know due to trademark and licensing reasons they couldn't call him Squeezeplay at the time, and there in fact he is. I think it was the Titans Return version. And yes, of course, the main reason for me doing this video right now is because I've had a few people ask me to, and we are lucky enough to be getting a update of this guy very soon. Right, before we have a look at him in the alternate mode, I'm going to show you the Japanese packaging. So I mentioned in Japan 1988 Super God Master Force. This was probably known as like the Pretender background for the rest of the world. The Pretenders played a huge part in that cartoon, as well as the Junior Headmasters, and he was known as Jinrai. Again, this isn't unfortunately him, but it's exactly how he would have come packaged. The D always stood for Destrons, and this would have been his reference number. And again, you've got got a Headmaster logo there. Right, the Hasbro packaging, the artwork on it was lovely. I think he looked great. They packaged him in his alternate mode, and again you've got low cost there. You've got the transformation process on the top, and then we've also got on the back, we pretty much should have, yeah, exactly the same battle scene we've got there. And then for anybody who wants to read the tech spec, I'm going to bring that there and suggest you pause. Right, things that you need to be aware of if you're looking to get one of these guys and he's in his robot mode is there's a lot of screws you can see, and there's quite a few hinges, so they can unfortunately corrode. But I think, you know, if you've got no accessories with this guy, especially in robot mode, he isn't going to display well at all. We're going to come back very quickly and have a look at him in his alternate mode. So here he is in his alternate mode. Quick apologies for no transformation process on this video. That's because it's a vintage figure and I really do take my time. So to keep the length of the video down, I've not done it. However, I will upload a separate one for you. The alternate mode, as I say, this is probably where he gets his name from in the Japanese continuity. As I say, Cancer was his name in there. Now, the good thing about this as well, I'm sure you'll agree, that if you have no accessories, you can get away with displaying him in this alternate mode. Things you need to be aware of though is of course the stickers. There's quite a few more stickers visible in this particular mode, and I suppose that's pretty much about it, to be honest. One other thing to point out is there's nowhere at all that you can attach his gun there. The reason why I'm showing you that is because on some of these stock images, which you can probably see just in the corner there above that, you can see the gun is fixed onto his back, and of course it was a different color, but there's no way on this planet that you can get it to attach anywhere there at all. Now, if you have got the accessories, then bonus, because the tail will fit into the same slot as where the head went. And then, do you know what? I don't think there's anywhere at all that you could store this. He can't hold it in his hands, and there's no other pegs. Now, the other interesting thing about this is, and I want to give you this as a bit of a tip, because in all honesty, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves me correct, this is how I managed to get mine complete. The seller had only listed it like this, but the Headmaster gimmick with this little guy, he stores inside the stomach here, right inside there. So to be honest, as I say, I didn't realize either when I was buying it. I just thought I was getting the body, but you can fit the little Headmaster inside there. Let's see if I can move it out of the way enough so I can get him to sit inside. It's really quite awkward, to be honest, but as I say, I was lucky enough. I think you are supposed to just fold it over and put it in all as one. I'm going to have another go at this. I haven't played with this in years, so forgive me while I struggle away trying to get it to fit in, but that is where he should go. And as I was saying, I was lucky enough to find my particular copy inside. I'm just seeing how he would fit in there, because it looks like I perhaps might have to turn his legs to the side to fit in. I'm not going to waste loads of time trying to get it in though. He will go in, but you've just got to maneuver him around. It's not like some of the others where you can just, I don't believe anywhere where you can just literally sit him inside. You can see I'm struggling away and I don't want to damage it, but that's one tip I will give you straight away. And as I said, the other thing is that, to be honest, look at the articulation you've got now. You can move the tail around, you can move these around. Again, you've got what I would class as elbow joints, and the legs of course are all completely the feet rather are fused like so. Right, to be honest, there's not much more to say about this particular figure. It is good for its time. I think it looked great, and although it's super basic, if you watch the Super God Master Force, you will get a much greater appreciation of this figure from there. But there you go, guys. This of course is Squeezeplay from 1988. Thanks to everybody who requested it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. So I really just wanted to add this bit at the end, because I was pretty sure most people would comment on me not doing it. What I've of course managed to do is get him inside, and because it's not the same as the others where you just literally rest them or put them in robot mode, you do have to fold him and unfortunately contort him in a way that he's not really, as I say, piloting it, but you pop his legs down on the inside there, and then it's just a case of literally just pushing him in as far as you go. And as I say, I was lucky enough to get this particular one, I'm sure it was, with him tucked away inside, and because there's barely any movement inside, it doesn't even really rattle. But there you go, I wanted to add that onto the end for you, and there you go.